Quick and dirty guide to 1010s, escalations. Pause the video as you need to see this information. Quickly covering on that first slide a lot of the profit value information, useful tips. The slides you're going through now are the fits and the pod. I use a pacifier. It's very efficient for warping around, saving bookmarks. Make sure you are actually verifying the bookmark before you pay the seller. It's listed in Zula's Bazaar that way to protect you and the seller both. If you get into running these regularly, try to find regular sellers. You can build some trust there. It makes it easier to trust that they're actually not going to scam you. I like to run these in batches of 5. Find your rhythm based on the amount of time you have and run them. But it's most efficient if you can jump site to site. So keep that in mind. One of my buddies actually buys his before downtime and then runs them after downtime, and he gets a pretty good deal because people are worried they're holding on to them and they didn't think they would have time to run them themselves, and so they hand them off for a cheaper price. In room 1, you have frigates, cruisers, battle cruisers, and battleships. On warp in, you'll want to hit the 3 closest, the elite drone something, I forget the name. My rule of thumb for clearing these is one of my ships will be the close range one and one will be the long range one. I do that so I don't accidentally waste torpedoes on the same target. It takes 7 to kill any battleships. So you start battleships and you work your way down to frigates. The frigates and the cruisers and battle cruisers start to burn towards you. You align towards the gate. You adjust your course to intercept the frigates and you use your Smartbomb to kill those. Because you're using Caldari Navy Mjolnir, you have EM resist and you have EM smart bombs. You won't kill your torpedoes while you're simultaneously killing the frigates. During that operation, your long range, I'll call it Widow, focuses on shooting off the 7 torpedoes to kill the farthest battleships away that you can reach. With my skills, it comes out to 45 kilometers max. And then with the other one, you pick the closest large, so battleship in this case, and you start shooting at that one. You'll notice I'm splitting my DPS on 2. One's firing at one, one's firing at the other. Both are approaching. I adjust my vector to try to intercept. This is a suboptimal run. I think it takes something like 23 minutes. That said, you can streamline this. Pick your path so you actually intercept the frigates correctly and actually smart bomb them in like 2 or 3 passes instead of the excessive amount it took me. We are prop mod off for all of this. Once you start shooting, everything starts burning towards you. You can just align straight to the gate. You should be done killing everything at just about the time you need to prop mod on, about 2 cycles to get to the gate. In room 1, there is a container. I don't lock it and shoot it until I get done with most of the stuff in the room. I have 7 target lock max. Once I'm down to 5 targets left or so, I'll lock it up. I usually pick one of my characters to be the one to scoop loot, and that one will make sure to tractor the box to me as I'm burning to the gate and scoop the loot. You'll notice also you can kind of see that one torpedo actually will push battleships through hull to dead. So once you get through all the armor, if there's only hull left, you can cycle your torpedoes off and switch targets. Just a reminder from slide 1, you need Plasma Physics 4 to be able to use Zivakoki's hacker card. If you're blitzing sites for maximum ISK per hour, you need those. They help you skip a large chunk of the maze. It doesn't pay a whole lot. I did run into some problems here. There is an issue with missiles in general, where if you're at a certain range, the missile swirls the target and never collides. It could be that, or it could be that I was actually smart bombing my own torpedoes. Unsure which. Maybe both. Optimal run is actually that you're killing stuff before you get there. I cycled my prop mods on and made a mess of this run. Every run something will go wrong. The trick is trying to minimize that each time. So at this point, down to 5 targets, 6 targets, I'm starting to look at getting to the gate. Cruisers and battle cruisers take 2 torpedoes. Battleships take 7. There will be possibly another video about marshals. They do actually have better applications, so they can run Fury torpedoes the whole way through the maze and 4-tap the battleships. So if you've heard of that and you're wondering why it takes 7, Widows don't have that good of application. That said, their clear time is comparable, so comparable within a minute or two, so it's not that much of a loss. And in the case where you're fielding 2 Widows with the pod and a pacifier, if you lose everything in a ball of fire, you'll have lost less risk than if you lose a single marshal. So now all targets are down. I'm locking the box. You fire 1 volley at the box, recall drones, prop mod onto the gate, start tractoring the box as soon as the container blows up. There it goes. See the explosion. I lock it up. We tractor it. Prop mod on, you're too fast. You'll outrun your tractor beam. So make sure you leave enough time, otherwise you'll leave loot that's actually valuable. There are 3 battleships in this room that have loot in them. They drop elite drone AI, and they are not worth crap. They're worth a couple 100,000 disc, I think it is. If you're trying to blitz these for optimal, it's not worth waiting on your tractor beam. So as you'll see here, the 3 are there. I ignore them. I go straight to the next room. So that completes room 1. And just a reminder, you are not safe here. People can come in behind you and faster stuff and bubble you, and you'll be stuck. You do have an MJD, you do have prop mod, but it's best to keep your head on a swivel. Be cautious if local has anyone, including blues, in it. Frankly, if there are newts, because I don't have cloak, I will not actually, I won't run the site until newts clear out. And I'm pretty hesitant to run even if there are blues only. In room 2, this is where you need Zivakoki's hacker cart. You align towards the gate. As soon as you're aligned, you micro jump drive, and then you prop mod on to burn back the last 30 kilometers to the gate. The one with the hacker cart needs to use it first to let them both through. There's a short window where you can do this. I don't know the exact timing, but you have a minute or 2 tops. And the way this works is you get both in range, and then once the one with the card activates, you want the one to be your second account to be right behind it and ready to take the gate. So make sure they're both within range to take the gate immediately, just to avoid any issues. These fits can run this solo, but the big benefit to having 2 is actually on the model, so you don't want to miss this part of the escalation. You can shoot the 3-point defense towers that sit on the surgeon gate. That said, frankly, you don't need to. I wouldn't waste the torpedoes on it, they cost disc. What I've pulled up here is a list of all the contracts for Zivakoki's hacker cards. I would not recommend paying more than 18 million. Frankly, I usually get mine for closer to 15, so that's kind of the range. The cheaper you can get them, the more profitable your sites are. Quite often you can find these for 150 mil for a 10 pack, and that's a pretty good deal as far as cutting your costs down when you run 10 tons. By the way, there's a Kuari named battleship in this room. I have shot it a great many times. It has never dropped anything nice for me. I have salvaged it a few times. The loot was underwhelming. Okay, so we're in what constitutes room 3 for the speedrun. The way this works is you're in the surgeon gate, you've just taken it. You're in room 3. You align to gate, prop mods are off. Same as room 1, you lock up battleships first. One of your accounts does short range, so the closest battleships to you. The other one does long range, which is the farthest battleships from you that you can still shoot with your torpedoes. For me, that's at 45 kilometers. Depending on your skills, that may be a shorter or longer distance. That said, you want to work through them that way so that you're not wasting torpedoes on the same target. You actually want to split DPS here. There are a few battle cruisers, a couple cruisers, and then a couple frigates. The battle cruisers tend to group up fairly nicely. You can actually chemo them full to 0 once you burn in. That said, the frigates are the big priority for smart bombs, so make sure those go quickly with the smart bombs. I think it takes 3 cycles from both ships to actually kill them. So you wanna make sure you're focusing on getting the smart bombs to do the job of killing frigates while your torpedoes kill battleships. Once again, battle cruisers and cruisers are 2 torpedoes each, and then battleships are 7. Though, as I said in room 1, and I'll say it again, once a battleship gets into hull, usually 1 torpedo is all, or 1 volley is all it's required to finish it off. Once it gets to that point, I usually turn off my torp launcher and switch targets. If I have to fire 1 last volley to finish them, I will later, but I'm in the business of trying to conserve the amount of ammo that I fire, generally. There's a named battleship in this room. Make sure whatever you do, you don't forget to loot it. It has part of your payout for the entire escalation. It's the Caldari something. You'll see it here if it's not already dead. This is another room where I struggled to kill the frigates. Ideal circumstance is that they slingshot past you, which has them entering Smartbomb range, getting pulsed, slingshotting past you, getting pulsed a second time, and as they turn around to reapproach, getting Smartbomb a third time and dying. If you manage that, that in my book is an optimal run. Those frigates are obnoxious to kill and torpedoes do not fly well. There are boxes in this room that look like they should be tractorable and or lootable. They are not. They're drone flotsam containers or something to that effect. Those are to be ignored. They're decorative. I had quite a few people confused about what's going on here. Neat thing with the battle cruisers you'll see in upcoming rooms, which you'll see here a little bit. I will do 1 2-cycle, then I'll switch to the other and do 2-cycle. Strongly recommend using Evo Preview. Lets you cycle accounts very quickly. You can get a lot better mileage than I'm getting actually. It's possible to start up torps on 1 target, switch, start up torps on the other, and switch back and turn off torps and get your 2 cycles optimized for killing battle cruisers very, very quickly. This is some silly COD behavior I'm engaging in here, but I'm reloading my tubes compulsively almost every gate. I don't know the rhythm, but you may find that you don't need to reload in between. It doesn't hurt anything, gets you prepped for the next round as you reload, so I engage in that. I tend to like PvP. I've had a couple encounters inside 1010s where I need to be ready at PvP. As a result of that, I like to be reloaded so that I'm not reloading at an awkward time if I get dropped on. Granted, they can't light inside, but as protected as you are by the surging gate, you're not invincible, so don't feel that way. You'll also notice I flash my D-scan quite a bit. Basically, if I see combat probes or I see newts in local, I start thinking about extracting. In this instance, my pacifier is sitting on the fort on a perch. That way I can see if I can warp to the fort directly or if I can warp to my pacifier. Either case offers me opportunity to get some safety as I'm warping back to station. In this room, you immediately want to, this is room 4 by the way, you want to immediately approach prop mod on to the crates, and once the frigates are in range, you want to start lighting your Smartbomb. Ideally, both Widow's launcher at the same time. Once you land, they start spreading out. But the battle cruisers and the frigates here can all be Smartbombed to death while you're killing the towers. There are 8, if I remember correctly, towers, point defense, and heavy missile launcher towers around the gate. You can shoot them from here if you have, I think it might be skill 5 actually, for the range skills. They're 38 to 46 away from you. The far ones may need to be fired upon as you're burning in. That said, 2 volleys finish the towers. That said, take it with a grain of salt. I've had some weird stuff happen where I needed to fire a 3rd volley. But my general operation here is burn to the crates, smart bombs on once everything's in range, sit here and smart bomb until all the battle cruisers and the frigates are dead, and I alternate torpedoes at the towers, 2 volleys each until they're dead. Once all that's done, I clean up the last 2 to 4 battle cruisers that are alive, depending on how the spawn was. There's 2 that spawn with the battleships, 2 that spawn a little too far away, but close. See me locking those up now. 2 torpedoes each, or 1 if they got smart bombs. Finish those off really quickly, and then burning towards the Quarry, I forget her name, Maiden. This is another named rat that you need to kill, and then immediately track her in. So there's a spot to the relative to us left of the gate that I park my widows on. Puts me in range of all the battleships and in range of the Quarry named blah 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 battleship, and I can immediately start tractoring. This is the second to last room. This is room 4. So once we're done here, we go to fight the mom. Once we clear this room and we've tractored everything in, we reload to Scourge Rage. So I'm doing pretty bad here, actually. I should have prop mounted on. I like to get to that position. Basically, the faster you get to that position, the faster everything's in range of you. As you can see here, I was very slow getting the towers down, so I'm slow boating, moseying over as I frag out against the towers. This fit is not cap stable with the Repper or prop mod or Smartbomb on, so you cannot afford to leave these running at all times. You must cycle the stuff off when it's not in use, or you'll run cap dry. That said, you have enough cap duration to survive the mom, even solo. Done with all the small stuff. I'm burning in now. Prop mods are on. I'm approaching the position I like. And by the way, this position also affords you a little bit extra room if the Dictor were to try to come in behind you and you were to miss it for some reason. Just a little bit of extra safety cushion there. And again, keep in mind, while this fit is great for running escalations, it does not have the slots for a cloak. So you have some vulnerability there that you're easily probed down. So here, because we're basically at the same range, the battleships will be arranged kind of in a semicircular formation around you, burning at roughly 30 kilometers. I start on one end, and I start with one character, and I start on the other end with another character. And I work my way back towards the middle. You'll see I killed the named one right off the bat, so I can start tractoring it in. Saves me a little bit of time towards the end. Once all the other rats are dead, we can take the gate. Ideal circumstance, if you can manage it, is to start aligning down the gate as your last torpedoes are away, do your reload, and then take the gate right as soon as they die. Again, this is loot that actually is included in the value of the site. Make sure you're getting it. It's done. I think I cut my torps a little close here. I think I was down to like 1 or 2 torpedoes left in the tubes at the end of this one. It's pretty close. I was very inefficient on this run with my ammo. And now you'll see I'm starting to align down the gate, so both are ready once the ammo is reloaded. In the mom room, to your left, about 15 degrees off of your initial orientation, is a neuting battery. You want nothing to do with that. It will give you a hard time and then it will kill you. What you do when you land in the mom room is you actually find the mom and you align towards her immediately with both accounts. You will have your hardeners on, you'll have your computer on for the entire time you're running the 1010. It's important that that's on here as well. Find the mom, it's that really fugly structure right there. Basically 12 o'clock when you enter. The neuting tower will be roughly 10 o'clock of you when you enter. Once you align, get your micro jump drive, as you see me doing here. I recommend trying to get your volleys to cycle as soon as they both land. They're hitting at the same time. Higher alpha means you get into hull sooner. you should be switching to Scourge Fury torpedoes, or Scourge Rage torpedoes, what they're called, excuse me, as you're entering this room. Mom has a hole in kinetic, so you want to switch to that. DPS is out. This is where I have wasps. I don't remember if I remembered to drop them for this run. You cannot drop them immediately. You must wait until the small stuff aggresses you, or they will kill your wasps. And even still, quite often they switch to aggression and kill your drone. It's frustrating. There will be at least 2 frigates that are capable of pointing you. Because we have switched to Scourge torpedoes, you do not want to cycle your smart bombs until the end. Mom does the most damage in the room. You can wait. It'll not be a problem. Once you're done shooting Scourge Rage torpedoes, then you can cycle on your smart bombs and kill the frigates. The other thing that you can get away with is once they're within, I'd say probably 20 kilometers of you, you can drop your Acolyte wing and kill the frigates that way that are on you. One of your widows will become the primary. The mom will web you terribly, like it's a very strong web. That account is just going to sit put. Frankly, I just align that one towards whatever my out is, since it's not moving fast enough to get out of range. The other account, I actually burn in prop mod on until I'm 17 or 18 kilometers from the mom. The reason being, it sits similar to a station. It has a wider docking radius, so to speak, and then when it blows up, the crate itself has a 0 radius. You need to be closer to the mom so that you're in range for tractoring in the crate when she blows up. Here you'll see I drop my drones, lock the frigate. There they go. You're going to kill the tackle. For widows, they're an inconvenience. If for some reason your drones get defanged and you don't want to cycle your smart bomb for the aggro timer or something, align towards your out, and then you can micro jump drive, and then you can work. Nothing here scrams. With 2 widows, the skills that I have, I 1-clip it. Every time I'll have a couple torpedoes left, it's 2 or 3. Big thing here is to manage not leaving your shield repper running 24/7. You need to manage it, turn it off. You don't want to over rep and burn out your cap. Capacitor goes dry and your ship will pop. Mom is nearly done. There goes mom. Now I lock it up with the close of the 2 widows. It'll vary. Doesn't matter. Whichever one you have that's closer, you're going to lock the box. You're going to tractor it. Reload to Caldari and Elner. Tractor it in. Align to your safe spots. Hopefully on a structure for tether and to regen cap. At this point, the battleships, battle cruisers, frigates will be close enough that they'll actually start to hurt about as much as the mom did. It's not too much to tank. The tank will hold very well. Then we warp out once we have looted our site. And that mom loot is a lot of Tech 2 salvage, I think it is, and an overseer effects. I think the gross is something like 270 to 300 mil and stuff that you get from an escalation. You have to offset that with the costs. I will also suggest keeping Crash, Blue Pill, and Hardshell in your cargo hold. In the unlikely chance that you have to defend yourself, pop all drugs that will make your reps a lot stronger, and then of course the Crash will help you apply better. Better application translates to killing hostiles fast. You do a lot of DPS. Better application gets you closer to your true DPS number when shooting at small stuff. Shooting at dictors, for example, is not optimal. You want to avoid being in a situation where you're in range of dictors ever. But should you have to pop your Crash, you'll do a little bit more damage to them. as your application is improved. And that's all there is to running 1010s. Hope this helps you guys get into running 1010s. It's very profitable. Startup cost can be a bit daunting, but you can actually grind this out with an Ishtar without too much difficulty.